Right now, on the night before the state spring election, we'll tell you what's on your ballot and some of the big referendum proposals. And a fundraiser at a local bowling alley that's hitting close to home. Plus, UW-Madison participates in a new research study for all of us.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for joining us tonight. DeForest School District officials are asking voters to approve a $125 million referendum. They say it's necessary to keep up with the area's growth. Keely Arthur spoke with them today.
Charlotte, the district is expected to have over 5,000 students by 2030. That's a growth of about 100 to 150 students a year. So officials say they've crafted two referendums that will positively impact everyone from 4K through high school.
We have over 1,000 students here at the high school, 2 lunch periods.
Superintendent Eric Runa says it's tough fitting all those students in here during lunch.
We do have students who end up kind of finding a little spot along the hallway floor.
And nearly impossible once DeForest Area High School reaches its projected growth of 1,500 students.
It's a pretty tight space.
So the school board administrators and a panel of 50 community members met over the course of a year looking for solutions.
They decided that their recommendation to the school board was the board needed to consider pursuing a capital referendum to add and remodel and renovate existing spaces so that we can meet capacity needs.
To accomplish that, the school district is asking voters to approve two referendums. One would increase revenue limits by $2.5 million a year to expand operating costs. The other would approve $125 million, $60 million of which would go to upgrades at the high school, including more classroom space and a new pool that would be used by the community at large.
It was built in 1969. There's lots of components that are just starting to reach the end of its useful life.
$57.4 million would go toward building a new intermediate school for 4th through 6th graders. The rest of the money to the district's 2 elementary schools and handicap accessibility.
Some of the biggest issues around ADA compliance involve our locker rooms and our campus here at the high school, where to go view certain athletic events, somebody with a mobility issue would actually struggle to get through fields.
If approved, a homeowner's property taxes would grow by $274 per every $100,000. But Bruna says it's the only way to keep up with the ever-expanding district and the needs of its students.
To a degree, these are kind of growing pains.
Now, of course, Election Day is tomorrow. This is the second most expensive school referendum in Dane County.
Keely Arthur reporting tonight. Keely, thank you. Other notable referendums tomorrow. In Sun Prairie, the district wants to borrow $164 million to build a second high school and exceed state revenue to help fund it. In Clinton, they want $42 million to build a new school for kindergarten through 6th graders and renovate the current high school. And in Milton, they're asking for nearly $60 million to replace a pool and add new classrooms to most of its schools to help lower class sizes. The only race that will be on every ballot in the state, Wisconsin Supreme Court. Judge Lisa Neubauer and Judge Brian Hagedorn are both appellate judges for the state. While the race is officially nonpartisan, Neubauer has been backed by liberal groups, while Hagedorn is the favorite among conservatives. The winner will serve a 10-year term. In Madison's mayoral race, Satya Rhodes Conway is challenging current Mayor Paul Soglin. They're advocating for a number of similar issues like affordable housing and addressing inequity in the community, but they say they would each bring something different to the job. Soglin is the longtime mayor who's been in the role since 2011 after also serving in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Rhodes Conway vows to bring a change to Madison. Another local mayoral race is in Fitchburg. The current mayor, Jason Gonzalez, is seeking re-election. He was first elected as mayor in 2017. His challenger, Aaron Richardson, is a teacher and a current member of the Fitchburg City Council. After last year's midterm election turnout, many are wondering if young voters will come to the polls in big numbers tomorrow. An estimated 80,000 more young voters showed up for the 2018 midterm. Even though some students are surprised there's an election tomorrow, last year's enthusiasm could carry over, giving young people an even louder voice in a smaller election.
The local race, the mayoral election, is definitely something that affects students, and so definitely something they should care about, I would say.
Groups from both parties have been working to get more young voters to the polls tomorrow. The polls open at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning and they close at 8 p.m. We will have team coverage beginning on News 3 Now this morning at 4:30 with the election results tomorrow on News 3 Now at 10. The State Climatology Office has declared ice off for both Lake Mendota and Lake Monona. Mendota recorded 86 days of ice cover this winter, while Lake Monona had 97 days of ice. Lake Wingra was declared ice off last week. Let's take a look at our first alert forecast now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Charlotte. I'm almost ready to declare spring here, but still a couple of times where temperatures might be cold enough for a few flurries of snow to mix, and one of those will be tonight. In fact, you can see on Doppler tracks some light rain showers developing over parts of southern Wisconsin, but farther to the north and west, it is cold enough for some snow north and west of La Crosse, and by the time we get to later on tonight, areas north and west of Dane County could see at least a few flurries mix in with the rain showers, but I'm not expecting anything to stick to the ground. Low temperatures last night were below freezing. Here in Madison, we were at 28 degrees. To our north and east, where skies were clear longer, temperatures dropped into the lower 20s, a few places in the upper teens. Whereas to the west, temperatures were closer to 30 thanks to cloud cover that moved in overnight. High temperatures today over southwestern and south central Wisconsin were in the lower to middle 50s thanks to some sunshine that made its way through. Areas to the north and east stayed underneath the clouds longer, and temperatures stayed in the 40s there. Current temperatures are still as warm as 47 in Madison, but there is a cold front to our north and west. Temperatures are dropping off into the 30s behind that front. By tomorrow morning, look for a few rain showers, perhaps mixed in with a couple of flakes of snow north and west of Dane County. Look for a low temperature of about 35 by morning, but tomorrow's high temperature will reach 53 as skies turn partly sunny in the afternoon. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary. 3 families are waiting to go home after a devastating fire in Cambridge, which officials say was accidentally started by a child. It happened just after 2:30 yesterday afternoon on North Pleasant Street at a 4-unit complex. According to the Dane County Sheriff's Office, an 8-year-old was playing with a torch lighter he uses for crafts when the nearby couch started on fire. Flames quickly spread, causing more than $300,000 of damage. The city of Madison is phasing in about 60 hybrid and electric vehicles into its fleet this year. They expect each hybrid will save about 1,000 gallons of gasoline per year, allowing the city to recoup the higher upfront cost of the vehicles. The move is a part of the city's goal to have net zero carbon emissions by 2030. Marijuana is not legal in the state of Wisconsin, but a new church here in Madison is saying they can use it through religious means. In 2006, the Supreme Court ruled that illegal drugs can be used for religious practices. This particular church, known as the Lion of Judah House of Rastafari, even has documentation from the state of Wisconsin legitimizing them. Marijuana is just a part of their religious sacrament, but they do not sell it. It can only be gifted to members of the church who donate to them. Each year, the owners of a bowling alley in Portage do something good and give thousands of dollars to cancer research, doing what they do best. Amy Reed shows us why this cause is so close to their heart.
Just like most places in life, J&J Fireball Lanes has its ups and its downs.
I thought it was a softball at first, Mom.
Well, good thing you didn't throw it overhand, huh?
The latest up
Oh, Ruthie.
comes after a pretty high success.
Nice one.
In the 3rd year of their fundraiser, they brought in the most yet, nearly $17,000 for cancer research.
It seems like everyone's just happy to be a part of something to give back because everyone's been touched by cancer.
The first year, they admit they didn't really know what they were doing.
He'd been in enough that he probably knew what was going on, but
They just knew what they wanted to do and where they wanted the money to go.
I remember he asked me the first year, well, what do you want it donated to? I said, new chairs in the waiting room. I said, those things are so uncomfortable. I've spent a lot of hours there. You know, waiting for doctor's appointments, waiting for chemotherapy. You go in. I think we'd get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, get out of there at 4 in the afternoon. I mean, it's an all-day ordeal.
Now that Denise is cancer-free, life looks up.
That's what happens when you go over the line. It gets really slippery, doesn't it? There you go, Gracie.
And the Bowers want to pass that along, each year picking a new cancer that they can help take down.
It's great. It makes all of us feel good to be able to give back and maybe help someone else that's going through the same issues that we've went through.
Through it all, the greatest up doesn't come during bowling or even in beating cancer. It's the community that helps them do both.
We can't thank them enough for helping make this what it is. Without them, it wouldn't be anything.
In Portage, Amy Reed, News 3 Now.
This year, the Bowers are donating their funds to lung cancer research in honor of the former owner of the alley who passed away from the disease 2 years ago. Still ahead tonight, the University of Wisconsin is just one of 10 colleges across the country taking part in a possible life-saving study, and they need your help. This is News 3 Now exclusive. It's coming up next. Diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancer, they are diseases that eventually touch all of us, and that's the name of a revolutionary research program. UW-Madison is just one of 10 groups involved in the All of Us research program, an unprecedented effort that seeks answers for diseases for more than just a select few. Eric Franke reports.
I want to know why. Why are we having all of these things?
Few people know their family history like Annie Weatherby Flowers.
I can connect my white ancestry. I actually can connect to my great-great-great-great-grandparents who were mulatto, who came in the interpassage in the United States in terms of the slave.
Serving as community engagement director for Madison's public library.
And both of them are deceased.
Her knack for research led her to dig more deeply into health issues that have plagued her family.
We have lots of autoimmune diseases, and a lot of them are European American.
Annie herself has 4 such diseases. She's lost 2 siblings way too young. and her desire to learn more led her to help all of us.
In order to do that, you need a lot of people and you need a lot of data. And so that's what All of Us is.
Dorothy Farrar Edwards is one of the co-principal investigators of the All of Us research program. UW-Madison is among just 10 research groups nationwide collecting health information, seeking 1 million volunteers in 5 years, and putting all of that data within the reach of scientists who will save lives.
That's why this initiative was funded by NIH, was to really take advantage of all the genomic tools that we have linked to health information and to move the field forward in cancer, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease.
And she not only leads the study, like Annie, Dorothy enrolled in it, motivated by a search for answers triggered by the loss of her brother to heart disease at 43.
Why am I so much at risk? Why did my brother pass away when he was so young? What's the risk for my children? I mean, what do we need to do? I have 4 adult children now. So my interest is why is heart disease so prevalent even in people who don't have the traditional risk factors? And that was my motivation.
Whatever the motivation, they need those volunteers to provide the database unlike one ever seen before. The process to enroll is simple.
We contact you. You can schedule your own appointment, or we'll contact you and come in for a really quick visit where we do height, weight, blood pressure. We draw some blood, ask you for some urine, and then ask you for consent to your electronic health records.
The hardest part was doing all of the paperwork, the registration, the answering all the questions and the surveys, and the data collection.
Data that includes segments of our country previously underrepresented in medical research.
In the past, we have not had good representation from racial and ethnic minorities or people with disabilities or rural individuals. So the goal of this is to create a representative sample so we can address healthcare issues across the entire population of the United States.
That's earned Annie's trust.
And my sister died from complications of Graves' disease.
Something she hopes will lead to some answers for the future.
And these are some of my grandkids.
Especially for her 2 sons and 9 grandchildren.
Just wanting to find out why, trying to connect that to the origin, and maybe look at preventing or doing some intervention for my grandbabies and future generations.
That was Eric Franke reporting. Another important reassurance that Annie got was that her information would be safe. The UW says the program has the same data breach protections as the National Security Agency. If you would like to learn more about the All of Us research project and how you can join, go to the website allofus.wisc.edu or call the number on your screen. Participants will receive $25. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi joins us once again with a look at your forecast.
Well, temperatures are back in the 50s. It was a cool weekend, but you can see this time of year now we're starting to turn the corner. Those cold spells aren't quite as long, and the temperatures warm up a little more after that. And as we mentioned earlier, the ice is off of the Madison lakes officially. 97 days for Lake Monona, 86 days for Lake Mendota. Both of them actually below average. Remember, we had a very mild start to the winter. It really wasn't until mid-January where the temperatures really took a turn for the worse and we started to get that snow and ice. Tonight, precipitation primarily in the form of some light rain showers north and west of Madison. It's possible that we could see a few flakes of snow mix in. This precipitation started out in Minnesota and Iowa mainly as some light snow and flurries. As it's moved eastward, though, the air warmer here. Eventually, though, areas north and west of Madison may cool off to the point where there could be some flurries of snow mixed in with the rain, but shouldn't amount to very much. Nothing that'll stick to the ground. Live view from Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Not seeing any precipitation here in Madison right now. Low this morning, 28 degrees, high temperature 52. That averages out almost exactly normal for today. And right now we're at 47 with mostly cloudy skies. Winds are still out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour, but a cold front is ready to move through southern Wisconsin. That's where that little line of showers is. In fact, high temperatures today were in the 50s over southern and southwestern Wisconsin where there was some sunshine. Closer to Lake Michigan, temperatures are a little cooler north of Milwaukee and only around 40 up toward Door County and into far northern Wisconsin. Temperatures there stayed in the upper 30s. Now, if you take a look at the peak wind gusts today here in Madison, we had some wind gusts almost to 40 miles per hour. Milwaukee did have a wind gust to 40 miles per hour, but there is a cold front to our north and west. We're at 47 in Madison, La Crosse at 42, so it's not a dramatic drop in temperatures, but you can certainly see it in the wind directions. Winds still out of the south southwest here in Madison. They shift to the west and northwest over toward La Crosse. They also drop off in speed. So the brisk winds that we had earlier are really going away pretty quickly. Upper level winds are from west to east. We have this little weather disturbance moving on through. Some more weather systems out to the west toward the west coast will gradually work their way eastward, but that will turn the jet stream more southwesterly and warm us up toward the end of the week. Right now, you can see this light precipitation, mainly in the form of rain showers here, and then behind the cold front, cold enough for a little bit of snow. Temperatures right now, 40s and 30s for the most part, not any really cold air to speak of, not any really warm air to speak of either. And as we take a look at future track, you can see that light rain and snow activity moving out pretty quickly tomorrow. We're back to some sunshine by tomorrow afternoon. That'll get temperatures back up in the lower 50s. Overnight, look for a low temperature of 35 degrees. Scattered showers could mix with a little snow north and west of Madison toward morning. That will end sometime during the day tomorrow. And then look for some sunshine later in the afternoon. Tomorrow's high temperature back up at 53. On future track, you can see the light rain and snow showers overnight. They move out tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, we're back to sunshine with high temperatures in the lower 50s. For tomorrow night, we'll see partly cloudy skies, low temperatures dropping to around 30 or just a little bit above. And we're back to the low 50s on Wednesday, but notice the clouds moving in. We'll see the next weather system affect us from Wednesday night into Thursday. That will bring the possibility for some light rain showers, maybe mixed with a few flakes of snow again Wednesday night into Thursday morning. After that, you see those temperatures really jump up into the upper 60s by the end of the weekend. Some shower and thunderstorm chances from later Sunday into Monday. That's looking more like spring down the road.
Oh, bring it on. Thank you
Sure.
very much, Gary. The Brewers hit the road for the first time, and their other MVP has the big hit tonight. The story coming up in sports.
After a sometimes magical 3-1 homestand to start the season, the Milwaukee Brewers have their first road series of the year at Cincinnati. Christian Yelich will be trying to become the first major leaguer to hit 5 homers in the first 5 games of the season. No homer tonight, but he gets a 2-out double in the 9th in a 3-3 game. And it's a biggie because the other MVP, Ryan Braun, comes through with a game-winning hit. A double down the line and left scores Yelich. Josh Hader gets another save. Brewers are 4-1 to start the season. They win tonight in Cincinnati, 4-3. The Cubs home opener is still a week away. They're in Atlanta tonight. Pitching has been a problem early for the Cubs. Kyle Hendricks gives up a homer to the first guy he faces tonight, Ender Inciarte for the Braves. It gets worse from there. Final score, Braves 8, Cubs nothing. This could have been a big night for the Milwaukee Bucks. A Bucks win in Brooklyn combined with a Toronto loss against Orlando would clinch the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And look who's back playing tonight. Giannis's ankle apparently isn't all that bad after all. He's trying to improve his outside shooting, you know. There's a good sign, a 3-pointer to extend the Bucks lead. And when he misses a 3, Giannis gets his own rebound and dunks it. Giannis has 28, Bledsoe has 29. Final score, Bucks 131, Nets 121. The Toronto team won, so the Bucks can't quite clinch that #1 seed tonight. A week from today, the Packers will have their first day of off-season workouts. A lot of players get bonus money just for showing up. In fact, the Packers pay more workout bonuses than any team in the NFL, a total of $5 million. 2 of the newest Packers get the biggest bonuses. Zadarius Smith gets $750,000 just for working out. Guys who have been in Green Bay, like Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Smith, and David Bakhtiari, get a $500,000 for their workout bonus. The Badgers won't have a spring football game this year. Last year's spring game was canceled by bad weather, but this year a spring game isn't even scheduled. They'll have a free open practice April 13th instead.
It never was, or it stopped. I don't know really when it stopped, but stopped kind of becoming a game. And so you want to have something where it's open. So that's what we're going to have, hopefully an open. Then people don't have to pay money for it. They just come in and hopefully you see it, but you're not misrepresented by calling it a spring game.
It's Final Four week on CBS and Channel 3. We'll have the semifinals and finals here this year from Minneapolis. Saturday's semifinals have Auburn and Virginia playing just after 5 o'clock. Then Texas Tech and Michigan State play just before 8. The Iowa women's basketball team looks for a spot in the Final Four for only the second time in its history. Against top seed Baylor, the leading scorer in Wisconsin girls high school basketball history, Megan Gustafson, has 23 points, 9 rebounds, but the Hawkeyes needed a lot more than that. Baylor goes to 35-1 in the season with an 85-53 win. The Lady Bears off to the Final Four. Iowa ends its season 29-7. So here's the women's Final Four. That's at Amalie Arena in Tampa this weekend. It starts with the national semifinals Friday. Baylor against Oregon, Notre Dame against Connecticut. The women's national championship game is next Sunday night. And we'll be right back.
Looks like some light rain and snow showers to our north and west. Temperatures still in the 40s here, but in the 30s to our north and west. Wind chills right now, not too much of a factor, but look for high temperatures tomorrow, lower 50s, a bit cooler for Thursday, and then a warm up over the weekend.
Loving that warm up. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us. Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Now.